Welcome back to the absolute beautiful weather here in Monterey, California. It's been a lot of fun to be here for the Java House Grand Prix here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. And if you enjoy my trips abroad, even to foreign countries like Canada or California, be sure to subscribe. It's free. You can also like the video and comment. All of that is free. It all helps me out, and I would appreciate it if you do that. So Laguna Seca is just an awesome place to be. Amazing track. I mean, Indy cars belong here. I think Colton Herta said that, and says that just about every press conference he gets the opportunity to, and I tend to agree with him. You know, a boring race can be very intriguing when the subject matter is interesting to look at or listen to, and this race was kind of a stinker. There were some exciting moments, there's no doubt about it, but not really at the front of the field, and yet I wasn't really bored much of it because Indy cars just look so damn cool going around this track. The other thing that I think is really important to note is the new management change here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, headed up by Mel Harder. And they did such a great job of promoting this. I really do think they did, because the crowd looked super strong. I was here, my only other time at Laguna Seca was the 2022 season finale. And really, this had all of the energy and probably more of that season finale race in 2022. And this is really just a regular season IndyCar race. There really wasn't anything special or notable going into it. And I just really think they did a good job of promoting it. I mean, the crowd on the front stretch, full grandstands. Now, yes, is it, you know, do they have smaller grandstands here than they do at a place like Iowa? Sure. But when they're full, it looks good. Alex Palou, man. Again, for the eighth time this season, not really a surprise in victory lane, but it's a historic season. He's got 3 races to win 2 races, and if he does that, he'll match the all-time mark of wins for a single year, AJ Foyt, with 10 wins on 1 year. I think he's got an outside chance of doing it. I think he could win in Portland, and why not Milwaukee? I mean, the problem, I guess, well, maybe Nashville, actually, because we never really got to see him race Nashville, right? Power had a seatbelt issue at Nashville and really had some trouble in that championship fight, and we never really saw if Palou could win at Nashville. So maybe Portland-Nashville is where you see Alex Palou score those last 2 wins he needs to tie AJ for the greatest season of all time. And it was Alex Palou winning today. He led 84 of the 95 laps, and in fact really was unchallenged if we don't take a strategy call into account. Christian Lundgaard was second. A really good run for Arrow McLaren, just not good enough to unseat Alex Palou, even after some really exciting restarts there towards the end. Colton Herta, the former king, I think maybe Alex Palou is the king now of Laguna Seca, but the former king of Laguna Seca, Colton Herta, rounds out the podium finishers for today. Pato O'Ward was very, very unhappy with his 4th place finish today after starting second. Scott Dixon came from 19th position on the grid to finish 5th. Callum Ilott did it even better, started 24th and finished 6th. That was a great result for Callum. He's really starting to stack those results. You'll hear from him later on in this video. Will Power lost 2 positions. That was kind of the story of the Penske's today. They had the pace in qualifying but couldn't quite finish it off. Marcus Armstrong gained 2 spots to finish 8th. Christian Rasmussen finished 9th. It was really pretty strong throughout the day. Scott McLaughlin gained 3 spots, finished in the top 10. Joseph Newgarden lost a ton of spots, going from 4th to 11th. Graham Rahal hung in there all day, but lost 4 positions to finish 12th. David Malukas was in the Fast 6 and finished 13th, so a little bit disappointing for little Dave. Connor Daly with a sneaky okay run, 23rd to 14th. Alexander Rossi went from 22nd to 15th. Kyle Kirkwood assumed the plower role this race because he managed to run over poor Rinus VK, who was really confident going into this weekend. Kind of a shame for Rinus. Louis Foster was unable to translate his top 10 starting position into a good finish, 17th. Not that great. Nolan Siegel is the only other driver that led any racing today. He led 11 laps, but finished in the 18th spot. Stingray Robb was the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Devlin DeFrancesco just had a miserable weekend. Robert Schwartzman lost a lap early on in the race. Santino Ferrucci locked his rear brakes going into the corkscrew. Of course, we know what happened to Rinus VeeKay. He got plowed by Kyle Kirkwood. Felix Rosenqvist crashed on that opening lap after getting plowed by the Kiff dog. So that beautiful rainbow livery, the rainbow livery wasn't nearly as successful for Felix Rosenqvist as it was for Alex Palou last year. Marcus Ericsson, and really I think we need to ask the question about why there wasn't a yellow flag thrown much earlier for Marcus. I don't know what's going on there. Jacob Abel crashed going into the Andretti hairpin, and it was a bad day for those of us who believe in the Kiff dog agenda. Crashed on the opening lap, took out Felix Rosenqvist, and a driver who we called on and verified one of the best top 10 road racers in the series did not show that today, unfortunately, for Kiffin. So I mentioned that Christian Lundgaard and Colton Herta rounded out your podium today. I got to speak to them after the race in the post-race press conference.
Yeah, I think it was a big question mark going into the race, and I think it was one of those weekends where it's very tough to really decide the strategy because you had to decide it last night, right after warm up, which we call cool down. When it's on Saturday evening, and you have all night to sleep on it, and you don't. I mean, already Saturday night what people are going to start on, but you don't know if it's going to be a red race. You don't know if it's going to be a prime race, and specifically this weekend with the lack of running we've had. Not running P2, it's been extra hard. The 7 car did it last year, obviously when I wasn't in the car, and they made it work. So we're very determined to try to do something different and kind of do something similar. And obviously it worked out today, but we also knew that the undercut would work. I wasn't quite expecting to be on the used alts at the end. I would much more preferred that to be the second to last stint, have a new set at the end, but it's easy to complain after the fact, but looking at us finishing second from 7th is obviously great.
For Colton, you started up at the front. You kind of got to observe Alex Palou very closely. What was the difference in pace with him and his driving in his car versus the rest of the field today?
I think we could compete with him. Obviously, the first stint, the tire offset, you saw how big of a offset it was, and then we're reeling him in when we were on the other side of it. And at the end, on the restarts, I felt just as strong as him, and he didn't really pull away from us too much. And I felt like I had his pace, but again, having his pace and being able to do it the whole race, and overcuts and undercuts, it's a different thing. So again, they drove a really good race and they were very fast. But I think we had similar pace, so we were close. Maybe not enough to overtake, but definitely a step in the right direction.
And we spoke to a few other drivers in the pit lane after the race, some different perspectives, as you would know, and
I had really good pace in the middle stint with those reds. I think with the way the warm-up procedure was, I was just able to get them in really nicely and make them last. If I'd have known he'd come out on the blacks, I maybe would have attacked a bit more, because I did get held up a bit for a few laps and let Dixon get away. But at the end, we were in a good position, right? So there was no need to take any stupid risks. I think at the restarts at the end, I struggled a bit to get the tyres up there, but that's why we had the good pace on the degrading stints. So really proud of what this team's done. We turned the car around from yesterday. We knew we had a lot more speed, and we got the strategy right, and things are just starting to click.
Yeah, you're starting to stack those results. What's the feeling going in Portland?
Yeah, it's always been a decent track for me. It's just chaotic, that's the only thing. We have to survive the chaos. I think our mentality with the car and ideas will work well there. I think we've really started to get some momentum, but again, it's IndyCar, anything can happen.
Yeah, missing a little bit there. I don't know what certainly that's about all we had, but certainly a big improvement for the first day. That's got to work a little bit harder on that stuff. Be interested to see at Portland. We were very quick there last year, so hopefully we can sort of improve a little bit on that, because I think everyone's taken a jump, and see how we go, man. See if we've 3 left, see if we can win a race.
Yeah, good race for us today. Overall good weekend, starting 11th, gaining a couple spots and finishing P9. Really had a really good first stint, you know, and we were passing people and even on our same strategy. And I think we got up to like P3 on our strategy, which was very positive. Super good pace on the black tire. We really were strong in the pit lane today, which I'm really proud of the boys for that. That was awesome to see. We were just struggling with a little bit too much deck on the reds, on the new reds really. Like I think my best stint on the reds were my used red stint. So it was weird. I had a lot of oversteer, a lot of understeer in the middles, and it was just really, really hard to drive. So unfortunate too, because that kind of made me drop a wheel there out of turn 4, which made us lose a couple positions. So really should have been P7, but I don't know. It's still a good day for us. We're moving forward as a team. We're getting more consistently up there, fighting for top 10s on a fairly regular basis. So looking forward to see what we can bring to Portland, and super excited for the ovals at the end of the year.
As far as I'm aware, Alex Palou may well be able to clinch the championship in Portland. It would be the first time he's done that since 2023. So, and I think he will. I mean, at this point, you know, Palou was super upset at the end of the race. Not surprising. Like, Palou is a competitor. Pado's having a great season. Pado's kind of starting to put everything together, and it's just not working out for Palou Award this season. But a really, really solid, what would be a really solid championship fight if just Alex Palou didn't exist. But yeah, I think really champion-elect, we're going to be calling Alex Palou going into Portland 2 weeks from today. And honestly, like, again, I'll say what I've said for the last several races, which is that, you know, this is a generational run for Alex Palou. It's something special. It's something that, you know, years from now, we're going to talk about as one of the great seasons, not only in IndyCar racing, but in racing of all time. And yeah, man, I flew 2,000, 3,000, is it 3,000 miles? I think I flew 3,000 miles from my humble abode to here to watch an Alex Palou beatdown. And I'm really not that upset about it. At the end of the day, you know, it's a season that we're going to remember for a very long time. And it's a driver that we're going to remember for a very long time. So again, you know, if we're a little bit bored by Alex Palou, I understand. But just consider that you should be remembering where you were when all this was happening, because you don't see it very often. Now, I'm going to say this because I thought I was going to say this about Toronto, and then that turned out to not be true. So stay tuned. But my plan right now is to not be in Portland for the race 2 weeks from now. Now, to make it up to you guys, I will be at IMSA in Road America next weekend. So if you guys have been missing sports car coverage, missing IMSA coverage, it will return to the channel next week. But yeah, I plan to be at least at the next 2 IndyCar races, or the final 2 IndyCar races to finish out the season, Milwaukee and Nashville Super Speedway. So that'll be a lot of fun. But again, you know, you never know. Something could change and I could end up in Portland tomorrow even. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube from sunny and beautiful Monterey, California. This has been David Land. We'll see you in the next video.